Good morning, Claire. How are you today?
Good morning, Fiona. I'm really well, thank you. Lovely to see you.
It's always great to see you, Claire. I really, really mean that. I mean, it's so wonderful. We've worked together all those years ago, and it seems like yesterday every time I see you.
Yeah, same here. Lots of memories, and yeah, really good to be having a chat with you and spending some time with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Claire. And of course, that was back in the Landmark days. I'm pretty sure anybody in our wonderful industry will know the lovely Clare James, but just tell us a bit about where you are now and where you went, well, from the Landmark to where you are now, isn't it?
So I was at the Landmark for 12 years, can you believe it? So really grew up in HR at the Landmark. And then I took a little bit of time out with my children. So I have two children, and I did some consultancy work with the Coworth Park team when they were opening with the Dorchester collection. And then I joined the beautiful Corinthia, and I've been at Corinthia London for 9 years now.
Oh my goodness, Claire, 9 years, it doesn't seem that long, but what a beautiful place to be working, isn't it?
It's very special. I think the design features, I think being, really respectful to the old building, but having this modern beauty and glamour as well. I think our company were very clever in the design stages, and we love it as a hotel. It's full of light, it flows really well. And of course, we have a wonderful team there as well.
Yeah, I know you do, Claire. And I know your role in HR, and I was so delighted because I obviously wanted to make sure we caught up and from an HR point of view about how things are at the moment. And so I thought, who better than to ask the lovely Claire to discuss your role at the moment. So maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about how your role in HR has been in the current situation, please, Claire.
Yeah, sure. So it's been a bit of a roller coaster of a journey. Of course, we started with lockdown, and lockdown came so quickly for our industry. So actually to get over 500 people safely off-site and at home, and to protect the building, and to have an asset protection team put in place to look after everything, that was really important, but it came very, very quickly for us. And then we went into a whole new world and language of furlough. So trying to understand this new language, and then to work with the business to understand what did that mean for us in financial terms, and then to very quickly be able to communicate with our team who were all sat waiting at home thinking what's next for us. So that was quite a journey. And then we reached a point where we wanted to have some feel good. So everybody understood the furlough. We'd offered financial support, and we'd offered a lot of health and well-being support as well. But then we wanted to have some fun. So then it was the time for the virtual pub quizzes, for TikTok, for weekly updates from our lovely managing director Thomas to the team, sharing recipes. We had like a virtual book club as well. So that was really important, and that was a really lovely time, and it's a time when we started really connecting with the teams on Zoom and Microsoft Teams. And then continuing working with furlough and the financials, and working with head office, and always keeping our colleagues up to date. And now I find myself planning how to return to the hotel, to do that safely, make sure that's really safe for our teams, and to work out what that looks like. So yeah, we've gone on a complete journey in a matter of months with this.
Gosh, that's incredible, Claire, isn't it? Because it just makes you realise, like you say, it's a real journey, and a new journey, isn't it? All those new things you've had to discover and work out. And like we were chatting about, it's all about getting the right things at the right time, as far as, what people are thinking at the time and how people are feeling and so on. And so from an HR point of view, I know that you're very much a hands-on HR person. And what do you feel that you've really sort of spent most of your time as far as your energy, apart from, of course, all doing all of that? Like we said, we've certainly not been quiet, have we?
No.
But what do you feel you've put most of your sort of energy into at the moment? Have you spent lots of time speaking to your team, keeping your team motivated? I know all those other things, but in particular, how do you think your role of HR has really evolved in that time?
I think you know, the human connection has been so important, and my HR manager and we're both mental health first aiders, and so really, apart from the administrative side and the business planning, etc., it's been really focusing on that welfare, and we've had you know, virtual coffee chats, and I've attended the calls and the pub quizzes. And that's just, that human contact's been really important. Receiving phone calls, so I'm one of the main ports of call for our colleagues. So just taking a phone call and allowing somebody to talk for 45 minutes, or receiving a WhatsApp and engaging in that way. So whichever ways the teams have wished to engage, that one-on-one has been really important. And you know, the queries that have come through for colleagues have been really important for them. And lots of people are just going through so many different emotions. I think there was a great saying that went out on social media, that we're in the same storm, but we're not on the same boat. And it's just recognizing that, and you know, being able to connect in the right way. And we just realised that so many people have so many worries, but equally, a lot of people are enjoying pressing pause on their manic life as well. And it's having fun and connecting with that side as well. So we've got a lot of bakers out there, a lot of TikTokers out there, and yeah, and a lot who are fully into their fitness now, and they are actually enjoying lockdown as well. So I think that human connection has never gone away, albeit I've had to do it virtually or on a phone, or, as I said, yeah, just by quick WhatsApp messaging to some of our colleagues. So that would be the biggest thing, apart from all of the planning and the admin that no doubt has had to continue.
Gosh, that's so true, Claire. And thank goodness. I mean, you already have some great skills anyway, but thank goodness you both got on board with those other skills as well. And it's so interesting, isn't it? Like you say, everybody is having different experiences. And I don't know about you, but that changes weekly as well, doesn't it? I know with everybody I'm speaking with, it depends on the day, depends on the week, and what's happening. So thank goodness at the Corinthia, they have a strong team, like you say, with Thomas and yourself, and you're all very much in it together, which is fantastic, isn't it? And like you said, you know, keeping the team motivated has been key, hasn't it? And is there anything, you know, as far as like a learning, I asked Thomas this as well, as far as, you know, he laughed when I said, oh, about the new normal, because at the time it was kind of like this new phrase, wasn't it? But is there anything particular from I suppose from a learning and development point of view, but more from just a sort of like, what do you not want to let go of, as far as when we move forward to whatever that looks like? What sort of things do you think you will keep hold of?
I think it goes back to that human engagement, and actually engaging in person on a one-to-one basis. It's very easy in HR, with all of the employment law and the administration that goes with HR, to be sort of pulled back to your desk. But there's nothing more powerful than the human connection. And I went into the hotel for the first time in months on Wednesday, and the faces of people just being face to face and saying you're real again, you know, it's not an avatar, you are a real person, and just the power of that human connection. So remembering that when I go back to the hotel, and also just remembering that everybody has different realities at different times, and sometimes being careful with your timing of your messaging, and being able to tap into as many people's reality and connect with them on that basis. I think it's very powerful and very helpful.
It's interesting, Claire, because I don't think we ever underestimate how important that is. But as much as it's wonderful seeing you on Zoom and all the other things you've mentioned, you can't beat it, can you? So I suppose really that is going to make us all appreciate that a lot, isn't it? Definitely. Yeah. I can just imagine. I didn't want you to video you walking into the hotel on the day, because that's the point. You meant to enjoy it, but it's almost like you wish you could have captured their faces, isn't it? It would have been amazing. Yeah. You've got that in your mind forever anyway. Yeah. That's
absolutely.
As far as, it's interesting, linking to what you were just saying about going into the hotel this week, we all know that around about the beginning of July, isn't it, we're talking about, you know, I know with some people around about the 6th, or anyway, July time, we're looking to hopefully open our doors, aren't we? How do you feel that at the moment, and I know you're doing lots of planning and lots of thinking through the guest journey, how do you feel the guest experience is going to be going forward, Claire?
I think for us, I mean, health and safety is going to come first, and it's how can that be relevant in our setting, which is, it's quite at odds really with luxury and 5-star, and obviously the human contact. So yes, there are going to be health and safety elements, but you know, I'm hopeful that guests will have got into habits, and they will have seen masks if they need to see masks. They will be used to actually our MD Thomas Cox likes to call it physical distancing, not social distancing, because we're not distancing socially, we're distancing physically. But those elements, I hope, will have become part of the habit, and therefore it's about really focusing on the service element and on the special touches. I think we're going to have to use our eyes a lot more if our faces are half covered, and I think it's more being able to make those emotional connections through what we say and the little touches that we add, and the surprise touches, delivering those uplifting experiences, but understanding that, you know, that the health and safety elements will have to remain for a period, and trying to make sure that we are being safe, but also that the hotel still looks beautiful.
Yeah, and it's going to be wonderful, because I can't wait to come in, because I know there will be some surprises, all within the sort of the what you're allowed to do and so on. And I think, like you say, guests will be kind of ready for it, but like you say, if you can do it in such a way that it still feels like it's the amazing service that you normally receive, then that's got to be a great thing, isn't it? So I presume, as far as the sort of reset button, there'll be some sort of training involved and spending lots of time with your team to do that. And I know you have a great training team there. Are you looking at doing some little mini workshops and role plays and so on at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, we ran a quick survey with our colleagues just to ask them about, we called it the lockdown lowdown. So, how were they feeling? But also, what did they feel about coming back, and what were some of the things that they were looking for? And health and safety and understanding what this sort of changed world in the hotel looked like was top priority. It was so high up on the agenda. Absolutely, first virtually, I think, before the teams even set foot back in the building, we'll be able to do a lot of virtual training, and then the role plays when they come back into the hotel, walking through areas, understanding it, feeling the guest experience for themselves, before, you know, they're in front of the guests. So that will be really, really important. And we've been working really hard quite recently on all of the measures that we will need to put in place. But we need to, for our colleagues to feel familiar with that. And I think there's lots of opportunities for training in that respect. We've also been given a lot of support from our occupational health team as well. So lots of learning there. So for people that really want to re-understand COVID-19 and how it works and why we do what we do from a health and safety point of view, that's going to be really helpful as well, to have it from credible sources as well as ourselves.
God, that's such a great point, Claire, because I think that I'm a massive believer that actually when you know something and you've got the knowledge, then that gives you more confidence and it allows you to know where you're doing it. Because I think what we don't want is people to feel that they're not confident in doing what they're doing, and they need to feel comfortable, don't they? And then that's when the natural service comes across, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's a great angle. And of course, like you say, they can do that virtually at the moment. And that's the good thing about furloughing, and they are able to do training, aren't they? So, which is really good. And I'm sure they're enjoying that as well.
Yeah, we've got a great learning management system called Flow. So we're able to either design our own bespoke content, or there's content that Flow and other companies can offer that we can host on there. So that's a great tool, and the colleagues have been familiar working with that. And then each team, you know, we have to allow the teams their own sort of nuances, and there are different ways that our teams like to deliver their learning, and I think it's important to also give the teams the freedom to do it their way, and to let the HODs and the execs put their own stamp on things as well. So we have a lot of flexibility and sort of blended learning, if you like.
Oh, sounds good, Claire. A couple more questions. Well, actually, three questions. First of all, any sort of particular wise words? I know when I use the word wise words, people think, oh, that sounds quite heavy going. But any particular words that you'd like to give to people in our wonderful industry, please, about how things are at the moment and how things might be, just in general, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So I think, you know, it's been said a lot, but I think it's really important, going back to the mental health and wellness aspect, it's okay to not be okay. And I think it's really important that the industry knows that, and that there's a lot of support for our industry. There's lots of wellness programs. Hospitality Action do some fantastic work as well. And it's just about speaking about any concerns or challenges for your own reality, and seeking the support so that you can get yourself back on your feet and into a good place, and ready to come back into the workplace. I think something that was very telling from our colleague survey was some people are nervous about the return. So they're nervous about public transport, they're nervous about the health and safety aspects that they might have to learn, and they're nervous that they might feel not able to give an amazing guest experience if they're having to wear a mask, or if they're having to stand a certain distance. So I think it's my advice would be for companies to really think those things through, understand what your team are thinking and where their heads are at, and then put in the support mechanisms in place to make it a comfortable return for them, and so that they can return and feel confident. And for those that are still struggling from a mental health point of view, have the support in place for them, for whatever that reality may be, to help get them through that journey as well. And I think that communication, as soon as a company knows something, I think to get that out to your team as transparently as possible, as quickly as possible, because even if it's some element of difficult news or something that's completely alien and new, I think the not knowing is worse than knowing and being supported through that.
I think that's fantastic advice, thank you, and it's from such a great angle, and I'd expect nothing less from you, you know, again from an HR point of view, but from a human point of view, really, really great. Linking, you mentioned Hospitality Action. We're asking everybody who's very kindly agreed to do these storm pods if they'd like to nominate a charity that if people would like to donate to. And would you like to maybe tell us, we're having a bit of a chat, weren't we, about possibly for you, it has to probably be 2 charities. So tell us about the 2 charities you'd like to nominate, please.
So I know they've been mentioned before, Fiona, but it just shows you how close to people's hearts these charities are. So Hospitality Action for me has been doing, well, it's always done incredible work for colleagues in our industry, but particularly at this time, to read all of the initiatives and the support that they've been offering to families and colleagues who are really struggling, I think is just phenomenal, and they haven't stopped. And so I would love for part of the funds to be towards hospitality action. And then I am going to follow with what Thomas Cox, our MD, mentioned, because he and I had to work very closely with a very difficult situation when we lost our PA, Bettina, to sepsis just before Christmas. Same as Thomas, I wasn't aware of sepsis. I wasn't aware how devastating and how quickly it can come about, and that it just doesn't discriminate. It covers all walks of life, all ages, and so the work that the Sepsis Trust are doing to support families, but also to understand this relatively unknown condition, which actually is quite common. It was really important for us in Bettina's name to support this charity this year, and to be able to continue to do this with your support as well is fantastic. So thank you for allowing me to.
Oh, thank you, Claire. That's two brilliant charities and great causes. Thank you. So shall we end on a lovely question about you and your lovely family, Chris and the lovely kiddies and the beautiful pooch. And what are you most looking forward to doing, Claire, when we are able to go back to whatever that new norm looks like? I know we've enjoyed our dog walks, haven't we? Thank goodness for those. But what are you really looking forward to being able to do when we come out of lockdown, so to speak?
Yeah. So there's a few things. Seeing family is really important. I think both sets of our parents are over 70, and I think it's been really hard for that generation. And I think they've also been incredible coming onto Zoom and Teams and learning this new tech. But seeing family is really important. Seeing all of my colleagues at Corinthia, seeing that hotel full again with our colleagues on site is just going to be incredible. That's everything that's important to me work-wise. And I am craving to go to the beach, and I know you've had some lovely beach walks. I think some of the beaches near me might be a little bit busy at the moment, perhaps when things have calmed down, like the toilet roll situation calming down. Just to have a lovely walk on the beach and to be by the sea and just take a breath and restart again would be fantastic.
Sounds good, Claire. You'll be drinking that cocktail of your brother's very soon, before you know it.
I will. That strawberry mojito will be on my table. Absolutely.
So Claire, I just want to say a massive thank you. You've been fantastic. No surprise there. And I just want to say thank you for being part of our Storm Pod programme. You've been great. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Fiona. And I've been really enjoying watching all of the Storm Pods. It was a really fantastic initiative. Thank you for adding the charity as well. And look forward to working with you in the coming year.
Thank you, Claire, and I really look forward to seeing you face to face. Thank you. Take good care.
And you. Bye-bye.